Finally, let's switch to the practical aspect, creating a symbol. So on this main page, we press on Symbol Editor. A new window will open up, and on the right side we have different libraries. And the first thing, we need to create a new library. Let's keep it global. And this library can be used in many different other projects. So the name, you can put something very generic. Okay, so I'll call it Step School Library. Okay, we have Step School Library, and then inside we have no symbols. So let's create a new symbol. So for that, you can press this button, New Symbol. And the name, we press OK. A quick tip before we continue. In KiCad, we have to be careful with the grid size. The grid basically defines the spacing where the elements snap, so everything is perfectly aligned. And in KiCad, we have to use the grid size at least 50 mils. Otherwise, you will get a lot of warnings. So for that, just go to Preferences. Within Schematic Editor, you have Grid and set 50 mils. And I have these parameters settings. So I did this mistake, like setting less than 50, and I get a lot of warnings. So it's a small detail. It will later save you a lot of time. And then we have our new symbol, but there's nothing. So I usually insert a rectangle to represent the symbol's body. Something like that. And also, I just press Escape to have the Select Item tool. And let's open the properties, and I usually fill it with some color. Something between red and yellow. Also, you can define the border, having some color here as well. So eventually we have something like that. Next step is to insert the pins. So for that, we choose this tool, Draw Pins. And usually we insert the pins one by one, entering the name and the pin number for each pin. So for example, the pin number name is LED1 and pin number is 1. So here I'm referring to the datasheet. If you look here, the pin position 1, we have LED1. Maybe it's better to open the pin description. So we have LED1 and 1. Next, we can keep entering the names the same way, but that takes a lot of time. So here's a life hack that allows us to easily insert the pins. For that, you just need to open pin table. So first thing, let's make sure that we have 8 pins. So for that, we keep pressing this plus button. We have 2, 3, 4. So currently I have 8 pins. Next thing, we open the datasheet and we can copy the name column. For that, I would use a Control-Alt keyword. Then I can just copy this column name. And in other operating systems, I think you have very similar tools. So I just copied it. And here, I just first highlight this column and the Control V, and we have all the names just over here. We can do the same for numbers. Control Alt. We copy them. Then we go back to this page, and here we also highlight and we press. So we have pin numbers and names, and we spend just 10 seconds to enter all of that. It's really cool. Next thing, we need to define electrical type. So for LEDs, as you guess, we define them as output pins. Same for for the LEDs. And unfortunately there's no shortcut for that, so we have to do it manually. So power is an input, enable, we can just define it as an input. This is power input. This is just input. So LEDs are output pins, V in, voltage, and ground are power input pins. So we press OK, and eventually we have all these pins listed here. And next step is to place all these pins, and the common mistake is to place them based on their physical location on the component, or in other words, copying the pin position from the datasheet. For example, having LED 1 here, LED 2 here, 3, 4, like just copying these positions. Instead, we have to follow the following convention. We place output pins on the right side and the input pins on the left side. So let's do that. So I just copy this, and I can place R symbol to rotate the pins. So it will like this. So we have output pins on the right side. Then input pins, we can put it here. And ground pins, we can place them on the bottom. Just like this. I'm sorry, the input pin, the voltage pin has to be on the top. Just like this. And reset pin goes here. And then we can adjust the rectangle size just to fit the pins. Okay, it looks pretty nice. So we follow this convention to make the schematic routing much easier, and to make our schematic more readable, because we will end up with less and cluttered route signals. So the routing will be much simpler. So this is not the end of the story, because we also have to update the symbol description, symbol properties. So we press the right button of the mouse and we open symbol properties. So reference we keep as U, value we have nothing here. The footprint we will define a bit later. The datasheet, I would highly recommend you to download the datasheet and refer to the path. So once you download it, you just press this button to browse, and also creating a separate folder for the datasheet I think is also a good idea. So I'll press it like this. Later I will show you how to easily open the datasheets in the schematic. So having it handy is really helpful later during the schematic design. And finally, the description, we can just copy it from the datasheet. So it's a constant current LED driver. Another common practice is to enter the keywords to make the component searchable. So we can call it LED driver. Also, we can enter our own custom field. For example, I can enter manufacturer. So it is on semi. Just like this. Okay, we finished. We press like this. After that, we save the file. And we have created our first library successfully. So next, we will switch to the footprint design. I also love free tutorials. That's why everything is here on YouTube. But if you want to support this project, you can donate for coffee. It will really help me keep going. The link below.